CJ on the beat.
So, yeah, now that we're talking about low income groups, and I don't want to use these overly desensitized and sanitized terms like low income groups. They're poor people.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so when we are talking about poor people, they live in
Hmm.
slums, or they don't live in subpar housing or whatever you want to call it, or substandard living conditions. They live
Yeah,
in slums. They live in ghettos,
right. Yeah,
and they are going to have. We have to face it. They are going to have easy access to harmful substances,
right.
whether legal or illegal, whether it's illegal harmful substances like heroin, cocaine, and all those things,
Mm,
or it is legal harmful substances like alcohol and nicotine.
yeah, yeah,
And there is
right,
a direct correlation between your mental health and substance abuse.
right. Yeah. Yes, yes, there is. I mean, there are public that researchers and published researchers on the correlation between substance abuse, different kinds of substance abuse, and violence and mental health for sure. In fact, domestic violence studies, all of them say that there is a direct correlation with violence and alcoholism and violence and other substance abuses for there, definitely there. So yes, you're right. People in the yeah. So let's use the word poor for the better, and keeping it simple.
To keep it
Uh,
real.
yes, yeah, yeah, true. So they do have access to illegal substances, and children at a very young age, especially teenage boys, do get access and get hooked on to addictive substances very early in life. And that definitely has an impact on their mental health, including development, can also have an impact on developmental
Yeah.
issues, developmental changes as well. So, yes, and the worst is they do not have easy access to mental health. So here you have this you have this set of people who are economically, socially discriminated and marginalized, plus also have access to all of these substances, which and of course the group, the setting, the environment around them is also not very conducive for them to really tell them that this is not right for their lives and things like that. Therefore, it is all the more easy for them to become a prey to substances like these. And then, of course, the chain continues, you see. So when they grow as an adult, and there is going to
Yeah.
be an impact on their mental health, and of course, that will have an impact on their regular life, their families, and it continues.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but if you see mental health in India, there is a lot of work that is really happening. At least since the Mental Health Act 2017, there's been a lot of work that is happening at the grassroots level. There are institutions and rehabilitation centers and government hospitals who offer free access to mental health care. But again, as I said, there is no awareness there at that level. So they would still want to go and reach out to a temple or a Baba or, any of these, superstitious methods. The belief is more in the superstitious method than going and seeking for a medical or a scientific approach to mental health, you see?
And when it doesn't work, when it's because it's not going to work, when it doesn't work,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the episodes continue, that makes them
Mm,
even more like as an example, when young boys especially, it doesn't have happen with girls. When young boys are very hyperactive, they run around a lot, they scream, they shout, they have a lot of things to say. जो बदमाश बच्चे हैं हम लोग बोलते हैं. So and फिर उनको शांत करने के लिए, because there's something wrong with his kundali or something, some kind of dosh that happened with something happening with the planetary alignment or the lines on his palm or whatever. फिर घर पे पूजा करो, एंड देन वो पूजा से हो जाएगा, जो भी दोष था, जो भी नाराज थे भगवान आपसे, वो सब खुश हो जाएंगे अभी. बट दैट्स नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क. वो कुछ उसका, आई एम नॉट सेइंग ही द किड हैज अ मेंटल डिसऑर्डर, बट दैट्स नॉट, इट्स नॉट इवन अ प्रॉब्लम टू बिगिन विद. बट देन दिस इज नॉट द सोल्यूशन फॉर दैट. तो वो ठीक तो होने नहीं वाला है, वो चलता रहेगा. फिर देन व्हाट हैपेंस इज, and then everyone still sees कि the kid is acting the same, behaving the same, talking the same. फिर अभी ठीक है, अब ये किसकी गलती है? उसकी मम्मी की, उसके पापा की. उन्होंने कुछ तो गलत उसको सिखाया है या सही नहीं सिखाया है, जो भी है.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, that is true. I mean, again, I keep blaming, the way the Indian society is structured around all of these religious practices. So, just like astrology and kundali and stars and all of that, yeah. So, मेरा अगर दिमाग खराब है तो उसका शांति पूजा करवाओ, या फिर do all of this havan and all of that, especially in the Hindu spaces, or religious spaces for that matter. So it's not, honestly, not going to have any impact. We know about it, but yet it still continues because people think that अगर as they say, right, अगर करना है तो कर लो ना, उसमें उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं करोगे तो you will have a regret or something picking your mind. Yes, एक तो पुण्य का काम है, दूसरा ये है कि अगर नहीं किया है. हाँ,
कर्मा इंडिया में what goes around comes around, ऐसा नहीं होता है, मतलब what.
Oh man, that's a total different discussion altogether. Yeah. I was just coming back to this whole the havan and the puja and the Brahma Shantis is about like it's like कर लो ना. अभी अगर नहीं करोगे तो वो प्रॉब्लम फिर तुम्हारा नहीं अगर सॉल्व होती है तो तुम्हारे दिमाग में वो रहेगा.
The grandparents are pressuring the parents. तो ठीक है, तुझे नहीं करना है, तेरी माँ इतना बोल रही है, उनको शांति
कर ले. या एग्जैक्टली. तो ग्रह को शांति कर रहे हो तो कर रहे हैं, वो पता नहीं, बट घर वालों को शांति करने के लिए आपको पूजा करनी जरूरी है.
So
right.
Now we got into the superstitions. These are like clearly superstitions.
Right.
For the slightly reasonable naked eye, this shows the difference. Okay, this is a superstition, this doesn't work, or yes. But then there is also an illusion of psychology. Like जैसे अभी recently वो एक celebrity का death by suicide हुआ, उसके बाद a lot of the groups I was in, and I was hearing this from other people as well, everyone is saying I am here to talk, I am available, किसी को कुछ बोलना होगा, there's nothing, ये एक है, this was a key word everywhere, there is no taboo between you and me, जो बोलना है बोलो, you will always have a friend, I will always listen, I will always be there for you. It is coming from a very good place. It's coming from a very good place, but it does not always work. And not only the fact that it doesn't work, but it might even be counterproductive. उसका गलत इफेक्ट भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि आप वो कर रहे हो अच्छे इंटेंशन के साथ, लेकिन if you are not trained and you are not equipped to help the person, if you are empowering someone else, if you are giving the tools to someone else, you need to have those tools first, right? You need to know what's going on and what has to be done in order to help them. If you are not trained in that, तो फिर वो कैसे होगा, और फिर उसका उल्टा इफेक्ट होने ही वाला है कुछ. So and that's one thing. And then there's those wild prescriptions like go for a walk, Take a week off, go to the Bahamas,
Yes.
go to Malaysia, or go to Ooty, ये जो भी घूम के आओ, जरा थोड़ा क्या बोलते हैं, माइंड क्लियर हो जाएगा.
Right.
माइंड
True.
क्लियर हो जाएगा, वापस आ जाएगा. मतलब कुछ तो भरा है
Yeah.
उसके अंदर कचरा, एंड वो
Yeah.
क्लियर करके आ जाओ, एवरीथिंग विल बी बैक टू नॉर्मल. ऐसा नहीं होता है. देन देयर इज मेडिटेशन. मेडिटेशन में आप बोल रहे हो उसको कि जाओ आप बैठो और ध्यान करो और ये करो और चक्रास अलाइन करो अपने. ऐसा नहीं होता है.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, yeah, so interesting that you brought about all these three things. So I'm going to talk about the first one, the friends, right? So I'm glad. I'm actually glad that the media and media is really bringing the mental health discussions into your drawing room, and it's like playing like a catalyst and bringing those discussions forward, which is a great thing, and that we're building a lot of awareness around it, which is good for mental health as a landscape. Yeah, it's good. However, yes, there is this problem that a lot of times people say that you come to me and, as friends that, you can talk to me whatever under on any subject under the sun. I'm not going to judge you and all of that. But we Indians are so habituated to offer solutions. मतलब तू ये कर तेरा सही हो जाएगा. Right? Even before really understanding what the problem really is and where is it really coming from, what do they really need? We are ready with our solutions. So that is something that could be counterproductive.
A specific solution. वो रामबाण इलाज होता है. It's always a one-stop solution because वो पता नहीं क्या obsession है. It's not just with mental health care. कुछ भी हो, whatever it might be. If you ask every individual, कुछ ना कुछ, they will always have one रामबाण इलाज for all the questions you have in life.
Yes, yes, and I think that's what I say.
And we, as a nation, we know बाकी जो भी है, like the unity है कि नहीं पता नहीं, but diversity तो है. We all agree on that. And in a country as diverse as India, you are prescribing something as a go-to solution for everything. ऐसा नहीं चलता ना, especially something like psychology. A broken arm might have the same cure for everyone, but depression does not have the same cure for everyone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Let the experts figure it out. To those who are listening.
Yeah, but the problem is everybody feels that they are an expert, right? So the moment I come to you, there is this power dynamic. The moment I am coming to you, and because I have the problem, and you by default are sitting on a pedestal, and you have the power dynamic between you and me is different. You are on a higher, you have the higher power than me. So you are going to act as an expert, and you are going to, of course, churn out solutions, which is, as you rightly said, not only with mental health, but every other sphere, every other aspect of our lives. This is the way Indians deal with. I think I also want to say that it is because of the lack of awareness as well. And coming back to mental health, psychiatrists, therapists are the last in the queue. मतलब आपको अगर प्रॉब्लम मेंटल हेल्थ की कोई भी इश्यू है तो आप सब नुस्खा अपनाओगे. दादी के नुस्खे के साथ जो नेबर ने जो आपको जड़ी बूटी का जो नुस्खा दिया है वो भी अपनाने के बाद जब कुछ नहीं काम, हाँ, मोटिवेशनल वीडियोस आप देखोगे, आप मेडिटेशन करोगे, आप योगा इज दैट रामबाण. या so yoga, meditation, you will try every damn thing, and only when it doesn't really work and you have realized that I have lost a lot of time and effort and nothing is really working, that's when you want to visit a psychiatrist or a mental health professional. You see, that's how there is a set hierarchy. You will want to try everything, but the psychiatry is the last in the queue. Plus, coming back to all of these alternative ways of healing. As you said, I mean, of course, I'm not really negating the positive impact of what yoga can do on your mental well-being. Of course, there is. But when people churn out solutions, churn out these nuskas like, go meditation kar le, आधे घंटा meditation kar le, breathing kar le, सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. Well, it is not true. Meditation is a good mindful strategy, but it doesn't really work when a person is going through a depressive episode or an anxious episode. It doesn't work because imagine you send a person who's having a depressive disorder to a Vipassana, 10 days, the person is going to sit by themselves without no avenue to really vent out what is going on in their mind or to talk to anybody for that matter. Imagine you're just by your thoughts
Yeah,
for
they're going
10
to replay all
days.
those episodes that happened in the
Yes, yes. And I've had clients who come to me post this whole meditational programs and come back really in deep because it's not that the meditation caused that. I am saying that the environment is not conducive for somebody who's going through a depressive disorder or an anxious disorder for that matter. So no, meditation is not for all. Yes, it's a good tool, but not during when you're having a depressive, psychotic maniac or episode. It doesn't work then. Otherwise, yes, it's a good mindfulness tool, but not that way. So lack of awareness definitely is what is causing us doing all this damage before reaching out to therapy. And there's one more thing that I just want to add here now that we're talking about it, is another myth that only people who have clinical conditions like मतलब बड़े जो प्रॉब्लम्स होंगे जैसे स्किज़ोफ्रेनिया है, बाइपोलर है, साइकोसिस है, उन्हीं को मेंटल हेल्थ या फिर थेरेपी, हेल्थ केयर या थेरेपी की जरूरत पड़ती है. डिप्रेशन तो क्या है, मतलब सबको होता है. You see, this whole idea, सबको होता है, कुछ नहीं, वो थोड़ा बस तुझ एक as you said, just take 1 week break, go on a vacation, go to Malaysia, Bangkok.
Being clinically depressed and being clinically diagnosed with depression and feeling depressed and being depressed is different.
Yes.
Depression, unlike वो एक है, and it is an emotion. Depression, feeling depressed is an emotion. वो तो है. It's a part of our language. कुछ नहीं कर सकते इसके बारे में. But it's not the same as being diagnosed with clinical depression. Yeah.
Yes, being depressed and having depression. There is there's a stark difference between feeling depressed and having depression. And somewhere you just mentioned that it's also the problem of our language. The way we use language, unconsciously and very irresponsibly at times. So for example, we use this word, बहुत depressed feel कर रहा हूँ मैं आज. You see, or मेरे को भी OCD है. All of these language, when you use this in a day-to-day affair without really understanding the importance of these words and these terms, unfortunately, all of us are just trivializing mental health as a subject or as a concept for that matter. And when you trivialize that, you're furthering this taboo, you're furthering the stigmatization of mental health for that matter. So yes, we must be.
मुझे भी तो है depression.
हाँ, मुझे भी तो, मतलब मैंने भी तो किया है. You're right. सबको हुआ है. तेरे पापा से पूछ ले, उनको भी ऐसा, मतलब everybody has this thing.
अरे वो
मेरे
तो
को भी हुआ है.
पापा तो क्या क्या करते थे. हमारे पहले के जनरेशन ने तो इंडिपेंडेंस का टाइम देखा है. उनको कुछ नहीं हुआ. अरे कुछ नहीं हुआ क्या, वो देखो क्या कर रहे हैं आजकल.
Yes, true. And of course,
जो ट्रॉमा से गुजरे उनका क्या हुआ है लाइफ में, और उनकी लाइफ का अपने लाइफ में क्या हुआ है वो देखो.
True. No, but then there is always a दूर का शर्मा जी का बेटा. अरे उसको भी ऐसा था. देख वो आज कहाँ है. You see, there is this whole, this excessive comparison and combative kind of a way that we put each other. We kind of peg people against each other. That वो शर्मा जी का बेटे को भी ऐसा था, लेकिन now look at him. He's done really well for himself. He's in the US and all of those spiel that our parents kind of churn out. So a lot of mental health issues, like if you talk about self-esteem or loneliness or rejections and all of that, are stemming from the way societal constructs are built around success and relationships, and also the linearity of success in itself. Like for example, मतलब 24-25 ने उसने, he or she must have a good job. Okay, settle होना चाहिए. Then about 26-27 they should look for marriage and they should have children, and so the linearity is
26-27 अभी हुआ है. It used to be 24.
पहले तो शायद earlier.
Yeah.
True. So the milestone is set, and each one of us is getting compared to this this notional linearity and the notional milestone that has been set for ourselves. मतलब आप compare कर ही जा रहे हो, कौन है, but है, ऐसा ही होता है society में और उसको compare किए जा रहे हैं. So even I think that's also adding up a lot of stress and pressure for especially the millennials for that matter. Yeah.
We were talking about language, and now you were talking about the success. Success has always been defined in our culture as a ladder or a staircase or a stairs to climb or a ladder to climb or a mountain to climb or a new height to reach. मतलब it's always about वो climbing the corporate ladder, climbing the success ladder वाला जो अपने culture में है ना. It's never been about a journey. It's never been about going from point A to point B to point C. And वो नहीं है. That's not success. That's not the journey and the finding out new things and doing what you want and meeting new people. ये सब नहीं. आप कल क्या थे? Assistant manager. आज क्या हो? Manager. Okay, you are successful. You are doing the same things. You are just spending more money doing those things. और आप हो गए सक्सेसफुल. आप कल भी गाड़ी चला रहे थे, आज भी गाड़ी चला रहे हो. कल 2 लाख की चला रहे थे, आज 6 लाख की चला रहे हो. हो गए सक्सेसफुल आप.
Yeah, true. I think you're right. I mean, that's how success is defined. That's how success has been sold to all of us, right? The aspirational value that is added to everything that every sphere, every aspect, every domain of our life. There is this aspirational hierarchical ladder. Right, so as you said, आज मैं एक executive हूँ, फिर वो assistant और वो ऊपर, it's a hierarchy. So one has to really have a continuous upward movement. But this whole idea that point A to point B से जा रहा है, उसको success ना मानते हुए अगर वो step 1 से step 2 पे जा रहा है, तब उसको success माना जाता है. But I think it's look at everything around us, including our Bollywood films or the way society is structured or way organizations are structured. There is always a hierarchy. There is always a pyramid structure. There's never what is it called? What's the opposite of
democratic?
The word. Not more of a democratic, but a very lean structure, not having a pyramid, but, like a lean, straight structure, like a parallel structure for that matter. We don't have those kind of structures. We always have hierarchies. So everything around us is built like that. Our buildings are built like that. So if I'm on the 15th floor, there is a premium that I have to pay for each of these floors. Even our spaces, our urban spaces are built like that. अरे उसकी 2-story building है and उसकी 3-story वाला house है. So every damn thing.
Even if you are living on the 3rd or 4th floor, if you are living in a 20-floor building and you are on the 3rd floor, that is different. और 4 माले के building में 3rd floor पे that is different.
True. I mean, urban spaces, in the urban constructional spaces, real estate spaces, you are paying premium for every floor that, in the high-rise building, because it means that you are able to see, like Bombay में or Bombay for that matter, मतलब आप 20th floor से खाड़ी देख रहे हो, but नज़रिया क्या है वो पूरी खाड़ी देख रहे हो, unlike you are the first or the second floor. You're still looking at the same, but you're looking at from top-down approach. But yeah, jokes aside, but that's the way it is. Everything around us is built like that. So imagine how much deep-rooted and entrenched this idea of success has been almost sewn into us as kids. Yeah.
So one more thing that I wanted to ask you about is, we were talking about hierarchies and orders and systems and structures, and how does that being a lot of I have just started being in that space for a few years. So I've been in small companies and I've been in one large company. So and it was never a corporate setting, but there was a hierarchy. I can only imagine corporate setting में जहाँ एक ही वो box में, it's literally a box. The buildings that they work in, these are just boxes. Sometimes they're weirdly shaped, but they're boxes. And उसके अंदर और boxes, different floors. And floors के अंदर और boxes, cubicles. Like what? And then I'm sounding too metaphorical, but then that is how it is. And then
Yes, yes.
uh, I have seen in movies and everything that we see, uh, Mr. Smith, you got a call from the 22nd floor. Oh, from the
Yeah.
22nd floor. Matlab, and so what does that do? A lot of my friends are in IT companies, MNC
Mm-hmm.
IT companies, very big companies like Infosys. And these are spread all over the globe. Or these are like, what do they say? They're just a little parts in a big machine.
Mm. Right.
And most of these decisions that are affecting them, they are not even seeing the decision makers that are making those decisions. जो सीईओ या एमडी या जो भी बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स है, ये लोग सब मिलके जो डिसीजंस ले रहे हैं, उनसे कभी मिले ही नहीं है ये लोग. And these people are making these decisions, and these decisions are passed down from one level to the second to the third, और फिर ऐसे करते करते वो लास्ट में आने तक उसका आइडेंटिटी क्या बचा उसमें. He is just a mindless, he or she is just a mindless robot now.
Yeah, yeah.
And तेरा वो छोटा मोटा कुछ तो, हाँ चलो ठीक है, एचआर ने कुछ तो आउटिंग वगैरह प्लान किया है, कुछ तो रिलीजियस फेस्टिवल आ रहा है, सेलिब्रेट कर लो, हो गया. एंड यू गेट वो सक्सेस का भी उसी में है. मतलब द सक्सेस दैट यू आर गेटिंग, द थिंग्स दैट द सिस्टम इज गिविंग यू is the things that the system is holding back.
Yeah. Yeah.
The system is telling you, this, Hardik, this is what you want, and to if you want to have what you want, then you need to work for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
मुझे चाहिए ही नहीं था. ये कभी सोचा नहीं.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
So what does that do? Because one individual not being happy with their work is a different thing. 100 people, 200, 500 people in the same building not being happy with their job.
Yeah.
Not 500 of them, maybe 200 of them out of the 500 are not happy with their job, are feeling subjugated, are feeling like they have lost their identity, like
Yes.
they have no
Yeah.
meaning, they're just
Yeah.
little cogs in a big machine.
Yeah.
ऐसे 200 लोग एक ही बिल्डिंग में रोज एक दूसरे के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर रहे हैं.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, true. You're right. I mean, yeah. So my experience has been working with the corporates. So I do work as a consultant, HR consultant, when I work specifically in the leadership space. So I do some consulting work with organizations. Plus, I also have started working with organizations in the mental health space, where I do visit some of the organizations once a month, and then there are coaching and therapy sessions. So with my experience, if I'm going to, I look at the mental health crisis in the corporate space from two different angles. So one is, yes, everybody today is feeling that there is no meaning in, this is a specific millennial problem. You might sound that I'm being extremely biased to millennials, but I'm just saying that this is what statistics really say, okay? This is a millennial problem. The lack of meaning and lack of purpose in life is a millennial problem. Since we are talking
about millennials technically, there is a misconception with, even I am not sure. Millennials are what millennials are? Who are millennials? What age group and what population is categorized as millennials?
Well, I mean, if you really look at how individuals are really divided or categorized, let's use the word categorize for that matter. Yeah, categorized in different generations, like the Generation X, the Generation Z, and all of that. Yeah. So when we talk about millennials, are of course the children of the baby boomers. So who really are millennials? So anything after the 80s is what the millennials are. So 80s to the 2000s. So typically 81 to 96 and all of that. So that is what your millennials are. They're also the Gen Xers.
I'm a borderline case because I was born in 96.
Yeah. So but so coming back.
Generally, जो हमारे generation में ना, we have been, even I have been assuming कि ये जो millennials, because we were Generation Z, I think, मुझे याद है. So and फिर ये millennials are the ones who came after us, who were born in the 2000s.
हम्म
लेट एकदम लेट 90s में, नहीं तो 2000s के बाद जो born हुए, जो अभी अभी कॉलेज में है, एंड दिस इज हैपनिंग. वो मिलेनियल, ये टर्म हैज कम फ्रॉम द वेस्ट, इफ आई एम नॉट.
Yes,
वो
yes.
और ये वेस्टर्न कल्चर में जो मिलेनियल का जो स्टेरियोटाइप है, कॉलेज गोइंग, वो सोशल जस्टिस वॉरियर, छोटी छोटी चीजों पे स्नोफ्लेक्स.
Yeah.
Snowflakes is the right word to, not the right word, is the word
But yeah, they're very associated with millennials. Yeah, sure.
So,
yeah.
But it's me. I am a millennial.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just coming back to the discussion.
Yeah.
So yeah, millennials are the 81s to 1996 kind of born. So that's the period, people born in that period. So why I use the word, the meaning and the purpose is, and of course everybody after that, okay, is I'm going to use a very cliched model of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where he speaks about the different needs of individuals, starting at the very bottom, which is the survival needs, like the roti, kapda, or makan, the basic needs that I really want. And after that need is fulfilled, then I move up to the next need, or not move up, but move to the next need for that matter, which is all about security. I'm looking for a stable life. I'm looking for a secured future for that matter. And once that's done, then I'm looking at having relationships in life, having a belongingness. So I want to belong to a certain set of people, certain group of people for that matter. And then moving up to the next need being self-esteem. That now I want to prove myself. Have I really have I achieved something important in life, something significant in life? And then the last need being the self-actualization. In fact, if you draw a Hindu parallel to this Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I mean, that's exactly what the Vedas have been talking about in terms of, the brahmacharya, the vanaprastha, and the, what is it called, the samsara, and all of that, right? Like earlier you were fetching for your roti kapda makan, and once you've done that, now you want to also have secured bank balance or ghar gaadi bangla, and then now you want to abhi ghar gaadi bangla aa gaya to abhi aapko shaadi kar lo, with bacche and the progeny, and then now you want to do something really significant in life. And then last is, now you go back, everything is achieved. Now let me go back and do something or give back to society, or look at the spiritual quotient of my spiritual quotient, all of that. So just coming back to and connecting this to millennials, I would say that most millennials or post-80s kids, again, I'm not saying absolutely, but I'm just saying most kids, most after 80s, did not really have to struggle so much, so to say, for the roti kapda aur makan. Yeah, it was given to them on the platter. I mean, to a larger extent, all of us did not struggle for it. Yeah.
There are certain populations who have, we have that notion that rising waves lift everyone, right? But
no, it is not. That is why I said it's not absolute, and that is why I'm saying.
There are some populations who have been perpetually in those conditions forever.
Yes, I agree. I mean, if you look at even in the urban spaces, the specific ghettos or the slums, and there are people who still stuck to the lowest the hierarchy of needs. Having said that, even for them, in comparison to the peer group, you see, even they are looking at, okay, अगर मेरा भी एक छोटा सा वो स्लम में है घर, उसको मैंने टाइल्स लगाया है और उसमें मैंने television लगाया, so even dish TV लगाया, so even in that peer group,
these are सिंबल्स ऑफ सक्सेस फॉर देम. ये हम लोग समझते नहीं है. अरे उसके पास तो एक्टिवा है, स्कूटर है. अरे दूध वाला धोबी, he has an Activa. That yes, he has an Activa. You have an Activa, but तेरे डैड ने दिया एक्टिवा मेरे भाई.
Yes, right. Yeah. So all that is connected.
कॉलेज जाने के लिए, and that is for his occupation, and it's an investment for him.
Yeah. True. So and you're right. I mean, for them, it's a means for earning their livelihood, versus for somebody, it's been just given on the platter that कि भाई तेरे को अगर बस एक ड्राइव पे जाना है तो अकेला रात को बाइक पे बैठ के तू चला गया. You see, that's how it is. So most millennials, for that matter, the last two, the security and the survival needs are already given into the platter. Also relationships. I mean, imagine the amount of exposure that children have. I mean, the relationships and there's nothing wrong in that. Absolutely nothing wrong. But I'm just saying that the last three needs have been extremely easily available to them. And because it's easily available, I'm not really paying as much importance or paying significance to all of these needs. So where do I start from? And that's where the other hierarchy of needs starts from, where I want to really talk about self-esteem. I really want to show that I have in me and I can really do something great shakes in my life. And therefore the meaning and the purpose and all of that. Therefore, I say that this is clearly a millennial problem. Yeah. But, so just connecting back to your original discussion points where you started about the corporates. So I see that yes, a lot of people do see that you're right, that people sitting on the 22nd floor पे बैठा है उससे मैं कभी मिला ही नहीं हूँ या मिली ही नहीं हूँ, but I am still following what they're saying, what the policies, what their vision, what their goal they have set for the organization. So yes, there is a huge disconnect. And therefore I don't see meaning and purpose in my life, and I just feel that मैं तो जा रही हूँ रोज एक कंप्यूटर के पीछे मतलब सामने बैठ के काम करना है and all of that. But I also want to say that yes, just feeling disconnected with their own lives and purpose can also have an impact on their mental health or how they really feel about their lives or on their subjective well-being. There's an impact, negative impact. But I also want to say, then the idea of working in a democratic working space where there is no structure, where there is absolutely complete autonomy given to you. Would that be is that a good or an ideal working space or a working space? My answer to that is no, because a lot of us also need structures to work. You see, if you ask me to, I mean, there are people who would say, or even if you ask me that, you have complete autonomy, this is your zone, this is your product, go and do whatever you want. Now, hey, but I really need structure. I need somebody to set a goal for me. I need somebody to tell me what do I need to achieve. Yeah, how to achieve is something that I will figure. That's my job. But I need to know, I need to have a starting point, you see. So it's different for different people. And that will take me into a total different discussion. But I'm saying that both these structures can have an impact on mental health of individuals. Like, for example, if you look at the whole startup space, it's more like, the democratic space. The autonomy is with you. But how many people do really feel comfortable working in a startup? Because there is no structure. There is no set policies and
there's no predictability in it.
There is uncertainty. There's this consistent, incessant threat of uncertainty that I really don't know, whatever shit that I'm working, is it really going to fly or no? Yeah. So, both can have an impact on individuals' mental health.
So that was a big concern for me, because there's a lot of people are out of work right now. I don't want to sound like all of India is walking into air-conditioned buildings and sitting in front of laptops. But the people I know, many of the people I know are going through this. That's why I wanted to. And if you building में जाके बैठ के काम करने का जाने दो. India, a big part of India is living their lives as worker bees. Whether it is वो physical labor हो या फिर आपका non-physical, वो भी labor. I am seeing that as labor itself now. IT industry मुझे labor ही लग रहा है अभी. Because I am not trying to belittle physical labor, but autonomy, the lack of autonomy is the same across all occupations. For the working class people.
Right.
And ये तो इसका हो गया, the IT वगैरह, that is fine. What I wanted to talk about is medical professionals and medical students having a more greater risk of mental health problems.
Yes, yes. I don't know when. Very recently,
all
there was
students in general,
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I want to know more because again, I have friends a lot of my friends just graduated and are about to enter the workforce
Right.
from the medical discipline. So,
Yes. Yes. You're right. There was a recent article which was published and which spoke about how medical students are highly prone to depression and mental health issues. Well, it is true. It is true. I think there are multiple. You could attribute the mental health condition and the being more disposition to depression or any other anxiety or any other mental health condition could be attributed to multiple factors. Obviously, because it's a high performing, high expectation kind of a qualification. So that's one. I also see that if you look at if you compare medical field versus any other field, the gratification, the immediate not immediate, but gratification of their qualification is far more quicker, far more sooner than the medical field. You see? So, मैंने engineering पढ़ लिया और engineering पढ़ने के बाद मैंने, I just go and find a job and I'm working and, I will grow in the organization, I will move to another organization, I will get promoted and blah, 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 blah. And the linearity of success continues. But for a medical field, I have to do my basic qualification. Then I'm also going to do residency. Then I'm going to also work in hospitals and all of that. And it kind of continues. So I think that could be one of the attributes to mental health condition. That is one. Also, I think like even in psychiatrists, like many psychiatrists are prone to depression.
Yeah. I wanted to get to that.
Yeah. So it is true. Well, it is really true. I think, as they say, that those who really learn about medications need the most. Yeah. So even for therapists like us, that it's not that therapists do not feel depressed or do not have anxiety or don't suffer from any mental health. No, we do. All of us do. We all need to be aware and be mindful about our own mental health needs and requirements. And it is true. That's the way it is. I mean, you can go and really find out multiple factors impacting all of these spaces, but that is the reality. That medical doctors, especially ERs, doctors in the ER, are more prone to stress and anxiety. Obviously, just imagine the environment that they're really working in. It's a stressful environment which is consistently expecting you to be on the toes and be alert and all of that.
And you don't have enough time to sleep. You don't have a social life. You have a very restricted social life, and it's generally with the people who you work with.
Yeah. So there is a very absolutely minuscule zero. Yeah, not very rich. Let me just use the word, not very rich social life. And when you don't have that that time to really take a break or meet your people and all of that, obviously it's going to have an impact. The social, or the belongingness plays an important role in one's mental health. It's extremely important to have your tribe, your friends, your family. You see, which is lacking in the medical space. And, yeah.